Hello, my beautiful Taurus friends, and welcome to our September 2021 reading. This month is about a lot of subtlety. It's about paying attention to what is coming up and out of us and not getting distracted by big, loud things on the external, but really discerning and seeing. And I love that. This is some of my favorite energy to work with. We're moving through Virgo season for a good chunk of the month until the 22nd when we hit the equinox and the sun moves into Libra. So we're working with energy that has so much to do with devotion and discernment. And these are two areas that I think it's easy to overlook, but that in those quiet practices of devotion and discernment, so much beauty comes into our lives. And it isn't grandiose. It's not about it being the spectacle or being exhibitionist or performing the roles perfectly or having a lot of over-the-top external experiences in order to validate your existence in the world. These energies are really about communing with divine and therefore taking deliberate steps that really match up with your heart. And Taurus, this is a really interesting combo of energies, this Virgo Libra season, this time of equinox, because first it's going to light up your heart chakra with the energy moving through Virgo. And then a ton of energy is moving into Libra this month. Mars moves into Libra, the sun moves into Libra, and a Mercury retrograde begins in Libra. So Mercury is going to be working with Libran energy for many weeks coming up here. And for you, this Libran energy is going to be about devotion. It's going to be about practice. It's going to be about where you're devoting your energy. What does that look like in a typical day? This is a wonderful time of review as well for Taurus because Uranus is retrograde in your sign, and it started its retrograde in August. Will be retrograde until mid-January. And this retrograde is going to help you incorporate how you grew the first 8 months of 2021, as well as give you new insights into where you're going to be asked to grow, change, and be open-minded to solutions that you didn't see coming. So there's a lot of powerful energy going on here. And I always like to say too, with the season of equinoxes, I really love the equinoxes. I think they're very, very powerful. And in some ways they can have more impact on us than the solstices, because I find these equinoxes, because they're that tipping point in the year, they are a doorway between the light half of the year and the dark half of the year, right? There's this perfect balancing. It's a really potent time, I find September to be, of coming to understand how we're changing and really finding new balance and harmony within that. And of course, with all this energy moving through Libra, we're already going to have themes about that coming up. So when I felt through Taurus's energy this month, tune-up time came to mind. This is a wonderful time to check in, tune up, check your routines, check the day-to-day. What's working? What feels really good? What kind of snuck in maybe over the summer months or the winter months if you're in the Southern Hemisphere? Two cards wanted to come out, Four of Cups and the Ace of Wands. Hello. Isn't this always how it works? This is so much for me about the logic of September. Resting, sitting down, getting still, and huge new influxes of energy coming in from that. That is a very important element of this month in general. But it is a time to just take a look around because, it's important to check in regularly and just notice, because every season of life too, and every season of the year even, needs a little slightly different routine, rhythm, balancing, harmonizing to keep us as close to our true selves as possible. And one of the messages that came up is, this month with all that energy moving through Libra, this is about the details of devotion to a life attuned to beauty, to love, to the divine, to the joyful, to the easy. And to the easy, I mean, it can be challenging, but it's something that flows through you with a clarity and a knowing. Nine of Pentacles, I love it. For me, I know that thinking about this kind of energy, this summer has been really a little disorienting in some ways. It's a really intense time in my life. I bring it up a lot, but I am in the midst of a whole immigration saga, and I'm very grateful. I feel very supported, but my sense of home and identity has been kind of tossed up in the air for it's about a year now. And this summer there was a lot going on with family and pieces of the puzzle coming and going and all this stuff, and I really got thrown off my center point. So when I'm thinking about September and this energy and this equinox and this time of recalibrating, and Five of Pentacles, that is some interesting stuff we got going on here, my friends. When I think about it, it's like I got out of my regular meditation practice over the last several weeks, and so I'm really excited to devote that focus to sitting, and also just like reincorporating my practice of keeping my paint journal, which is just like daily reflections of the environment around me. I paint every day, not really caring about final products. It's a sketchbook. It's its own version of a journal. So like coming back to those sacred priorities for me, while they don't logically look like taking huge career strides or fixing all of the immigration stuff or answering emails or any of those things, it does attune me to the beauty of this life and why I would bother doing all the rest of this stuff. And it helps me to show up more fully to my life. So that's one way that I will really, really connect with this energy. Let's talk about these cards though, because we have a really interesting combo going on here. We've got these two cards in the center, the Ace of Wands and the Nine of Pentacles, that are very joyful, bounteous, answers coming in, doors opening in, security coming in. There's a lot of joy and excitement in these cards, and positive opportunity showing up. And I do think, in this calibration time and in this time of the equinox and in this season of shift and in this season where it is about incorporating and using that Uranus retrograde, allowing it to show you surprising ways to problem solve and find your own identity in the world. And that's actually a big message that's coming up here. Ace of Wands and Nine of Pentacles is not about you in relationship to other people, not about you getting acceptance from somebody else or from a specific outcome. Ace of Wands and Nine of Pentacles are about you feeling so secure in yourself, so in love with your own journey with yourself that all that other stuff falls away. And it becomes kind of like the cherry on the top, sure, but it's not the central thing. So there's a big message here about focusing in on how you are feeling within yourself. How you are feeling within your own creative spark. Not the feedback you're getting, not the praise you're getting, not the accolades or the external validation, but how you're feeling about yourself inside. And that's where we're going to get into these book-ending cards, because Four of Cups is one of my favorite energies. People tend to resist four energy in tarot because the fours are culminating energy. So they're this rest point. You've just done the 1, 2, and 3, which are all very fast, busy, connective energies. And the 4 is a moment of rest and reflection. And we so often fight this because we are worried that if we rest into this, we're going to miss something, right? But Four of Cups, yes, on the one hand, this can be about being ungrateful and not paying attention and therefore missing out on the gifts that are trying to come in. But I think the way that I prefer working with this energy whenever this comes through is don't be afraid to relax. It's not going to preclude you from receiving this information. In fact, that's one of the ways through which you're going to get some of your best energy with this Ace of Wands, this Nine of Pentacles. This is an important step to take And it's kind of that saying, and I'm going to probably not quote it correctly at all, but the saying that is, oh, you should meditate for 20 minutes a day unless you're really busy, and then you should sit for an hour. That is very much what Four of Cups, I think, tends to nudge us towards. So if you're just like, well, I don't have time to devote to sitting and allowing, the more important it is to put that top of your list, because that is the doorway through which you are going to get all of that goodness, all of that information, all of the things, all the answers, and the security and that sense of stability that you're longing for are going to come through in that sitting, right? Now we have one final friend here in this reading, which is the Five of Pentacles. Our dear friend, the Five of Pentacles. This is a card that speaks to a couple themes. One being feeling detached from divine, feeling kind of outside of that warm embrace. And I think all of us at some point or another have a season of life or a time when we feel disconnected from divine and when it feels like it is unreachable, right? The Five of Pentacles is also almost always having to do with worthiness. Worthiness around feeling safe, feeling loved, feeling held, all those things that we truly desire deep down. So one message with this whole tune-up conversation we've been having, and this idea of paying attention to the details, taking that time to sit, rest into, slow down so that you can speed up. This Five of Pentacles is also going to be speaking to the tune-up being just noticing where that voice, the worry voice, the trauma voice, the wounded child, and I know I have one of those voices, and it is, an important part of me and also something that I have to work with daily. That voice, it's time to check in with it and notice, is it the one leading the decisions? Is it the one telling you what needs to happen? And taking care of ourselves and making sure that we're checking in with where we don't feel worthy for these blessings, where we don't feel worthy of being joyful or happy, where we don't feel worthy of feeling secure or safe, where we are tempted to maybe even sabotage ourselves a little bit because we're afraid that in just trusting that we're allowed to be safe and creative and loved, that we're going to miss a step. So Five of Pentacles is an important message here. It's not so much saying that September is going to end in rack and ruin. It is saying that as you are doing your tune-up, you may uncover some little places that have been needing some meditation, some attention, some journaling, some care. And when we take the time to sit with that part of ourselves, in this case the Five of Pentacles self that is afraid and feels unworthy, we are able to continue our expansion journey. And that's one thing I want to say too as we kind of wrap up here, that September is kind of you're on the road on a long hike, or just imagine being in a carriage or on a horse or something. It's the inn that you stop at on your way to the rest of the journey. And at that inn, you take a bath, you eat some food that you've been missing, you repack your clothing, you change out the horses, you check in with yourself so that you can have a sustainable journey moving forward. And, we're going to, next month in October, outer planets are going to start moving direct, not Uranus, but a lot of other ones. We're going to get into Scorpio season, which is mirror season for you and really activates a lot of high intensity, high impact energy movement. And we want to make sure that you're feeling prepared and open for this Ace of Wands, Knight of Pentacles, because this energy is going to continue in the coming months. And all expansion needs a little contraction and a little check-in in order for it to be sustainable. It's not about constant growth as much as the capitalist system likes us to think that it is about gaining, and that's the only way to feel love or success. This month is telling me It's actually the reverse. In simplifying and slowing down and listening in, there's more abundance there. So there's a simple message here. And, this season is a time to heal, to calibrate. And I always recommend with the equinox, check in with yourself. Check in with how you've grown since the last equinox, since March. Check in with where you're feeling your energy being pulled for these last few months of the year. And, I like to write these things down so that I can look at them when we get to the solstice, when we get to the new year, and I can notice how I've grown and changed and what has come to pass and what has connected with me. I'm really loving this month, and as much as it might seem very simple on the surface, this is one of the most potent months you can work with to really get in touch with your soul mission, with your joy in life, with where you're meant to be going, and really get tapped deeply into kind of your Venusian power in this life. So that is exciting to think about. I'm enjoying thinking about it. I hope you have a beautiful September. I'm going to be offering a ton of support for this Mercury retrograde coming up, for planets moving around. I do a weekly chat on my Patreon, and we also do lots of extras, and sometimes I have special guests, so I'd love to see you there. You can also find me on my Instagram and my website, so I'll leave all my links below. And I love you all so much. Have a gorgeous September and equinox, and I will see you back here very soon.